And welcome in to the ride, the journey to the tourney. This is our third episode here. We're going to be talking about some SEC conference projections, and we're also going to be talking about the American Conference. We got a top 10 from the SEC and the top five from the American. So excited to get into this. Some big news from the weekend. Ken Palm and the AP poll both released their top 25 for the AP poll and Ken Palm's rankings for all of college basketball. So my name's Andrew Hurley. I'm here with Brett. Brett, just some initial reactions to the Ken Palm and to the AP poll. What'd you like? What'd you see? What was kind of surprising?
Yeah, I'm not very high on Arizona as the AP poll, but other than that, I do actually agree with quite a bit of it. I think they had pretty good ballpark for most of the teams, I'd say. I don't think there's anything really egregious on it. I don't know what you
Yeah,
think.
I did really like the AP poll. Um, They have their number one team being Purdue, Houston, and then Florida. Those are the first, second, and third teams. Fairly chalky, but I like it. Going down, they had Creighton squeaking in, Wisconsin getting in, and then North Carolina at 25 was a team that there was a lot of discourse online as to whether they should have made it. I mean, I think North Carolina is a top 25 team.
Yeah.
Some of the teams that were not quite in there are NC State, Oregon, San Diego State. They all received some pretty solid votes, but didn't quite make the top 25. And then if we look over at Ken Palm, their number one, two, three goes Houston, Florida, and Purdue. So the same top three, just in a little bit different order. Some of the surprising ones, they have Illinois at six, Gonzaga at eight. Ken Palm always tends to love Gonzaga. They got Tennessee up there at nine. I like that a lot. But St. John's down at 16. Baylor at 17 was probably the biggest surprise as I was reading over it. That and Vandy at 19. So uh, just some interesting stuff from Ken Palm. What did you like out of the Ken Palm rankings?
Yeah. I do think they have the top four or top five even, pretty down pat. I know it's always kind of a thing they say that the freshman-led teams are normally underrated. So BYU, I think is low, but I kind of understand it. Like statistically, it's hard to project them to be much better with without the stats of Devonsa. But I mean, I think other than Baylor and Vanderbilt, it's not terrible. I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, I agree. So it'll be interesting to see as throughout the year how these ratings get adjusted. We're less than a month out. So, I mean,
Hmm.
college basketball coming up here. We got a lot of scrimmages going on. I know some teams are playing some out of conference games, scrimmages, exhibition games. So college basketball is here. We're ready for it. Excited to get these things going. But
Hmm.
speaking of getting things going, how we're going to do this is Brett and I both have our top 10 in the SEC, which is one of the best conferences in basketball. You could argue it is the best conference in basketball, especially after last year's dominant run. Um, Brett's going to go ahead and list off his top 10. He's going to go from his 10 spot, and then I'm going to say where I had that team. Uh, He's going to give some feedback. We're going to talk about these teams, and then yeah, from there we'll go to the American, and we'll get out of here with a hot take. So Brett, get us going with the 10.
Okay, so 10, I'm kind of assuming you don't have them on here, but it might have snuck in. I had Texas. Do you have
I
Texas
did
on your
not
list?
have Texas in my top
Okay.
10.
So I thought they were a
We
pretty
kind
sneaky
of
good
spoke
team.
before this a little bit, and I think
Yeah,
we're gonna have some
we're
different looking lists. But
I
go ahead
think
with
at the
Texas.
bottom we're gonna have a lot of different stuff. But for Texas, I like Dalen Swain. I think he's a great pickup. He had 27 in their loss in March Madness, but I mean, 27 is pretty legit against a Big Ten team. Um, I mean, I think they added a lot of good role players as well. They retained a lot with Jordan Pope and Tremont Mark coming back. I think those were great players to keep. I think John Clark could be a freshman who might start. I know he's a four-star, I think. He's a pretty athletic guy. I think he'd uh, pair pretty well with their Heidi and Vocatus. Is that how you say it? I know he's a pretty solid pickup from FAU. Pretty big guy. I think that's always good.
7 footer.
Yeah. He averaged pretty efficient 10 and 5 last year. So I don't know if they'll be quite as good as last year. I mean, I think they're kind of on that borderline. I think the surrounding cast will be better. Obviously, Trey Johnson's not a guy you can really replicate. like consistently in college basketball, but I think they have a pretty solid group. Also, I like Simeon Wilcher as another transfer I like.
Yeah, I was looking at Texas a little bit. They didn't quite crack my top 10, but one of the players that I noted in there was Lassina Traore from Long Beach State. He averaged 12 and 10 last year, so pretty good big. He was fairly efficient, 53%, but he should be able to play some minutes there next to Matas Vokiatatis.
Hmm.
Tough name. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
super experienced backcourt. They almost cracked my top 10. They'll be good this year, but uh who's your nine?
Yeah, at nine I have Georgia. I don't know if you have Georgia in your top 10.
Nah, Georgia didn't crack my top 10.
Okay, so this is a pretty young team, so maybe it's like a year early. But I do like I guess, kind of the core of Kane catching is Blue Kane and Jeremiah Wilkinson. None of them are going to be seniors, I don't think. Jeremiah Wilkinson and Catchings were both freshmen last year. I think I like the look of the future with this team, really. Um, Out of the entire lineup, only two of them shot over 35% from three last year. So that could be an issue, but I like Marcus Melinder. I think he's a solid add from mid-major UTSA. I know the projected guy for them is Blue Kane. I'm not totally sure he's really gonna take like a first option kind of role. I think it'll be pretty split between him, Melinder, Wilkinson, Catchings. I think they'll all have like pretty flat stats, but I just like the overall team. I think they could have some pretty. I mean, defense might be an issue because they're not a very big team. I'd say. I think the lineup looks like 6'1", 6'5", 6'8", 6'9", and 6'9". So it might not be, that mix with inexperience might be a little rough, but I think they have some decent scoring. I think they'd be okay.
Yeah, they also had a Sompto Cyril off the bench last year. He was a OTE guy when in high school. Very athletic, big, but hopefully he can take some steps. Was pretty efficient, but didn't show a lot of versatility. Struggled on the defense sometimes, especially in screens, but he's very athletic. And so he can develop as a rim protector and as an offensive player. And yeah, Marcus Melinder kind of scares me. I was looking at him on the defensive end. A great shooter last year at UTSA, great scorer.
Hmm.
Not sure what I mean, I assume he'll be starting at one of the guard
Yeah, I
positions,
got
but
him.
they also had Jordan Ross and Jeremiah Wilkinson, so not sure what that starting backcourt's going to be. But yeah, I mean, Georgia's a talented deep roster. Not a ton of freshman talent. I mean, Jacob Wilkins, somebody who might be able to uh, produce for them off rip, but yeah, Georgia did not quite make my top 10.
Yeah, that's fair. It's kind of iffy for me. But should we go on to my eight?
Yeah, get to your eight,
Okay.
man.
So today I have Tamu, Texas A&M. Do you have them on your list?
Didn't make my top 10.
Okay.
Yep.
So for me, I mean, I think it's a really complete lineup, and I don't really have any like big issues, honestly. I mean, they're kind of thin depth-wise at wing. I noticed that, but like, I really like this team. They added Pop Isaacs. I think that's like the guy people were looking at, but also like Jakari Lane and Mackenzie and Baco. I think that's how you say Mbako. I think both of them are like very sound second, third option guys. And Fede. I liked him at Texas Tech. He's on pretty low. Like he didn't have like a huge statistical impact, but I think he's pretty solid and he should be a good starting five. But I mean, I think they just had pretty full roster. They got Josh Holloway from Sanford, Marcus Hill from NC State, Rylan Griffin could be a guy a little bounce back maybe after a rough year last year. Sean Agee from USC. I just think they have a bunch of Power Five talent, along with Pop Isaacs, who, I mean, statistically, I think he had a crazy year last year before he got hurt. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, one of the guys that I really like on this team is Rashawn Agee. They almost made my top 10. I think I did have them at 11 actually during my rankings, but the transfer from USC, 70 attempts from behind the arc, 39%. Towards the end of the year, he was really taking a step into being a top scorer. He had in his last eight or so games, he had 29 in one of them, 23, 27, 22. Like, I mean, towards the end of this season, he was really stepping up his role at USC, so he'll be a good four there. Their size, I mean, Federico, and Agee, I think will be a good front court.
Hmm.
I hope Pop Isaacs can be that kind of scorer that he was last year. And I don't know much about Mackenzie Mbako. I know he's from IU. Um, don't know much about him, but he should be decent. Yeah, this team is good. This SEC, it's so tough with the SEC, like just how
Yeah,
good this conference is. Um,
they
like it's
left some
crazy to
pretty
me
good
that,
teams out.
and the reason I think that they didn't make it for me was that this roster just has looks almost 100% different from what it looked like
Hmm.
last year. So hopefully they can build on some synergy and create something good. But I am hopeful that happens. But I didn't see any. How many returners did they have? Did they have any returners?
Let
Like
me
it's just
see.
looking through it.
I
Don't know
don't
that they
see
had
any of them
any
like in my
returners from
projected
last year's
agenda
team.
lineup. No.
So yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to me. Hopefully they can build some sort of chemistry. But yeah, they did not make my top 10. So get on to your seven.
Okay, this team I know you have because everybody has them way higher than me. But I have Tennessee
Yeah,
at
I had Tennessee
seven.
at my six. Yep, I have them at my
Yeah,
six.
I mean, I guess we're both lower than consensus on them. Ken
Hmm.
Palm had him at nine. I just, I'm not as big on them as most people, I would say. I think Jacoby Gillespie will have a good year. Um, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. I
Torvik
mean,
had him at second in the conference. So I mean, this is
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, Gillespie's kind of like a mix almost. He's gonna have to do like both of what Lanier and Ziegler did as like a scorer and the lead guard, which that's a lot on his plate as a guy who was playing with Derek Queen last year. So I think the breakout for him, I think he have a jump in stats, but I don't know how much better he could be realistically in 1 year as the main guy. And then I think I'm just not a big guy on relying on freshmen. I do think like on that, I think he would have to have a pretty big year for them to be a top team. I think they'd have to play a lot of defense with the young guys in this rotation. And they have a lot of returners. I did like that, but I'm I'm kind of iffy on them. Just like don't love trusting Gillespie and Omnet to be like the guys. I guess I meant.
yeah. I mean, Jacoby Gillespie is my favorite transfer in the conference, and I mean that's saying a lot. This conference has some pretty solid transfers, but him and five-star Nate Ament, like you were talking about, are probably going to be the top guys on this offense. They brought back Felix Okpara and Cade Phillips, who were pretty big parts of that team last year. They have some France transfers coming in.
Hmm.
I know Amari Abram is a guy from Louisiana Tech, I believe.
Yes, I like him.
So, but yeah, I think the real story is this. It's going to be Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament, and Nate Ament has preseason SEC first team honors. So, I mean, that is
Hmm.
huge
Yeah.
expectations on a freshman. Absolutely insane expectations for him to lead this Tennessee team alongside Gillespie. I'm not doubting they could do it. I'm a big Rick Barnes guy. I think he's an awesome coach. My player to watch though is going to be Jalen Carey. He's going to
Hmm.
be in that front court alongside Akbar. He's a transfer from Vanderbilt. Was fairly efficient. Averaged 8 and 6 last year. He's not going to necessarily be a star, but going to be a pretty important role player next to that kind of almost big three of Akpara, Ament, and Gillespie. But more importantly, Ament and Gillespie.
Yeah, he's a big boy, 6'8",
Yeah,
270.
yeah,
That's
he's
that's pretty
large.
fun. My guy
Yeah.
was Nate man.
Mhm.
He's one of the freshmen I liked watching a lot. Like a skilled guy, bucket, but he's ball handler at like a big frame. So I think
Yeah.
he's a fun player.
All right, get to your
Yeah.
six.
So at my six, I'm thinking about it. I don't know how you'd have him, but I have Missouri.
Yeah, I had Missouri at my eight.
Okay, so
So
not too far off, but
no.
higher. Um, like I said in the last episode, I'm a pretty big Mark Mitchell guy. That's what a lot of this is gonna be based off of. But also, I just like their size a lot.
Hmm.
Mitchell, Pierce, Phillips, Porter, Burns, Northweather are all like big for their size or for their positions. Um, I mean, I just like the defensive lineup. I know Anthony Robinson's gonna be one of those guys. A lot of people, I think he was a SEC team defender last year.
Yeah,
Sean
Anthony Robinson.
Phillips, yeah, yeah, and then Sean Phillips, he's a backup for Quintance, I guess. I think he might have played on the course sometimes with them, but I liked him a lot. He's a good shot blocker. He's a big frame. He's a
Yeah,
good.
7 footer.
I
Yeah.
like Sean Phillips a lot. I think he's really underrated. And then the guy I had to talk about, I guess, Trent Pierce. He's supposed to start. He averaged 6 and 3. But let's see. I mean, I don't really know why. I said he played a lot of big minutes.
Hmm.
I'm not really. I think the thing was that pretty commonly I saw Javon Porter starting at the four. I think Trent Pierce might be the guy, but I'm not
Really?
totally sure about that.
Yeah. I mean, they just have so many bigs. They even have the 7'3" freshman Trent Burns,
Yeah, I saw seven
uh,
five on my listing.
7'5".
He's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah,
Like
he's
a
a big guy.
4 star, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, so
So
he's one of the
uh,
guys.
the question for me is, I don't know how they're going to get all these bigs into the rotation. I mean, they
Hmm.
have a ton of talent from the bigs. I mean, I said that Mark Mitchell is one of the better, more experienced bigs in this league. They bring back Anthony Robinson, and they brought in Sebastian Mack, transferred from UCLA. Sebastian Mack and Anthony Robinson are really the only backcourt guys that I see having a ton of success. And I'm not sure what the wing players gonna be looking like. I know they expect Anor Boateng to take a leap, but
Hmm.
he was not anything special last year at Missouri, so not sure what his role is going to be like. My player that I was looking out for is Jacob Cruz,
Hmm.
returner. He's a senior this year. Kind of played a little bit of stretch four, a little bit of wing almost for them last year, but a little bit more of the stretch four position. I think he's going to have to play some wing for them this year if he's going to get minutes. He averaged 5.5 last year. I think, yeah, I think he's going to be expected to play some wing minutes. It'll be important that he gets some shots up. Not sure how the shooting is going to look on this team past
Yeah.
Mack and Robinson, and mostly just Mack. So
Yeah.
I would have had them higher just because of how awesome Mark Mitchell is and their depth in the front court, but the back court and the wings just scare me.
Yeah. That's fair assumptions. So I move on to my five.
Yep.
Yeah, so at five I had Alabama. Where'd you have Alabama?
Alabama's at my 2. I am high on Alabama.
I know some people are really high, some people like me are a bit lower. I would
Hmm.
just say that like they're kind of out of their element, I guess. I don't really see this team being like feeling like that Bama team you normally have, like Noah Williamson and Taylor Bowen. I don't know if that's really the front court I love to see as like a contender, like a top contender for the SEC. They'll still be able to shoot, but I don't think they're just gonna have. I don't think they have as much production offensively as they did last year, and I don't. I just don't think they have like the depth they had last year either. I think they were pretty underrated depth-wise last year. I don't really see that as much here.
Yeah, I mean LeBron fell on is the preseason first team all conference, and I think him and Aiden Holloway is one of the best scoring backcourts in the country. Fallon's an all right defender. Holloway struggles on defense. So it'll be interesting to see how he guards up, playing kind of a combo guard role as he has the last few years. And then they brought in a couple 4 stars in London Jameson and Davian Hannah, who I actually think are really, really solid.
Hmm.
They're good size. I really like. They have Jalil Bethea. I don't think he's going to have much of a role, but he's somewhat notable of a transfer. And then my guy that I am keeping an eye on is Latrell Wrightsell. Was really awesome last year before the injury. I think he'll be able to space the floor for them. He is a lights out shooter. Lights out shooter. He shot 42% on some decent volume last year. But he had games where he was 5 for 9, 3 for 6, 3 for 6 before the injury. So I think he's going to step up big time. Not sure what position he's going to be playing. I know he was playing a lot of guard, but that Aiden Holloway and LeBaron Philon is might be filling those spots. I don't know what the starting lineup's really going to look like. I don't know if you had a projection for that.
I had him at the three. I did Phylan, Holloway, Right Cell, Bobo, and Williamson, but they Mallet off the bench. But they am Mallet off the bench.
Yeah,
Couple freshmen off the bench. Cheryl off the bench from last year. Then Keaton Bristow, who averaged 11 and 4 off the bench as well from
I
Tarleton
actually really
State.
liked Cheryl last year as well. I thought Cheryl
Mm,
played well. He bad from the free throw line. That was one thing that he really struggled at. He shot sub 50% from the free throw line, but shot 67% from the field. So he's an efficient guy. I think he might even take some starting minutes.
mm,
So.
yeah,
Yeah, and then that's yeah. I just the only reason I have them so high is I think the offense is still going to be electric. Post Mark Sears, Grant Nelson era, I still think that Nate Oates is going to be putting up 90 point, 100 point games, and that Alabama is going to be running up some scores. I don't know how many teams in this SEC can keep up.
yeah. I could see them still being that same high scoring Bama team, high flying team. So,
Yeah.
so
To your
moving
four.
forward. Yeah. So at four, I have Arkansas. Where do you
At
have them?
four, I also have Arkansas.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool. So
Our first match.
yeah, so I think this could be a little interesting of a lineup. So I'll just go through my lineup. I have Acuff, Wagner, Knox, Brazil, and Ewan with Malik and Billy Richmond, Nick Pringle off the bench. I think that's kind of agreeable.
Yeah.
Um, I think those eight players, I think that's like a really solid rotation. I don't really know how much they're gonna lean out of that. I'm sure he has some other recruits, but those were the guys I noticed. Like I think like a Nick Pringle off the bench, that's pretty high quality. Malik Thomas off the bench as well. Like he could be a spark plug guy off the bench. He could get you buckets. Like this team has a lot of talent. I just like the bigs a lot. I mean, they're not gonna probably put up as crazy numbers like Malik Ewan. He averaged 14.7 at FSU last year. He probably won't put up those numbers, but I think they're all really good impact guys. I just think that the guard room is kind of where like team you make or break this roster. There's a lot of question marks in how well Acuff can run this team, how DJ Wagner does. Can he step up? You know, what do you think?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we say four almost like it's low for them, but I mean, this SEC is so stacked.
Mm,
But yeah, my thing was the DJ Wagner growth and progression, I think is going to really tell how this team does. The freshman talents there, Acuff and Thomas are both 5 stars. They're going to contribute immediately. I really like both of them. I think Darius Acuff's actually going to be a really good guard uh,
mm,
right off the bat. Expect some big things from him. And then Carter Knox is back. He had an all right year. Expect once again just some progression. And then the front court is super deep and super experienced. I think that's where they're going to kind of make their money, like you said, with Pringle, Brazil, and Ewan, all really good big men in the front court. So yeah, my player that I was saying to watch is DJ Wagner. Um, I think if he improves his splits, improves his scoring, improves just as an overall player, this team is pretty deep with really solid players. I think they're going to be dangerous.
yeah, I'd say my guy's probably Malik Thomas. Just 'cause I think he's more volatile, I guess, than Acuff maybe.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure what his role will be, but like with seeing how well those some of those bucket getting freshmen were last year, maybe a guy like if he could break out to be some like high scorer guy, I think that'd be fun to watch and
Yep.
maybe more impactful than you think.
I think
So,
we're good to go to your three.
okay, looking at it now, I probably overrated him a bit because I'm not sure about the coaching. Is it Auburn at three? Or do you have Auburn?
Yeah, I had Auburn at my 5.
Yeah. Looking back, I mean, I just kept them there because that's kind of what I had at my top 25 as well as at my third
Hmm.
best SEC school. I think there's still a lot to like about the team. Um, man, I had a lot to say. I'm not really sure how the lineup is gonna shake out. I'm pretty confident Pettiford, Keyshawn Hall, and Keyshawn Murphy. I think those are like the big three. I really do like those three quite a bit. Not as much Pettiford. I'm not really sure what like a lot of people are expecting big things from him just off like the highlights and that. He's a pretty fun player to watch, but I'm not sure like if he's that first option, I'm not totally sure what their ceiling is. I think there has to be quite a bit of Keyshawn Hall in that scoring load as well for me to like the team, but they have a lot of talent. Abdul Bashir is also a guy. The top JUCO guys. He's gonna, he could be a guy who gets a lot of scoring as well, but I'm not totally sure if he's gonna start. I had Kevin Overton from Texas Tech starting instead of him, but I mean, my I like the size, but my issues kind of lie with the newcomers and their like big role on this team because you have Philip Jovic. Um, he's gonna probably start the average 12 overseas, but like there's so many overseas guys. I'm not sure if that's gonna be like the move, I guess. Um, yeah, Abdul Bashir from JUCO, like I said, and you have another guy a lot of people like was Elijah Freeman from D2. He averaged 19, 9, and 3. He's one of the top guys, but I mean, I like the starting lineup. I think they have some pretty talented players, but I'm not totally sure if this is like gonna the rest of the lineup's really gonna live up to expectation.
Yeah, I agree with a lot with what you said. I am pretty high on Todd Pettiford. I think he's going to be just as good of a scorer as he's shown flashes to be. So that's kind of honestly why I justified even having the I almost had Auburn at my seventh spot. I mean, I'm really
Mm,
not too sold on this roster. I like the Keyshawns, Hall and Murphy, but first year coach Stephen Pearl, he's got a lot on his hands, and Auburn's been really good the last couple years. I'm going to keep it simple with my guy to watch. It is just Todd Pettiford. He's going to have to take a jump into an elite guard in this league to lead this team back to what they've been, back into like the top three, even top five in this conference.
yeah, my guy would watch would probably be Keyshawn Murphy. I really liked him last year. I think he's a pretty
Yeah.
underappreciated defender, and he scored more than I would have expected as well. So I think he's a fun player, fun big. So at my two, I'm assuming you're one. I have Florida.
Yep.
You have
I
Florida
had
one.
Florida at my one.
Okay, so they only have one traditional wing, I guess. It's CJ Ingram, freshman. I do love Chinyalu. He is one of my guys. I think he's probably one of my favorite returners from last year. Just like giant, big. I like that. He was good last year. He's pretty
The
solid
big
defensively
boy.
at times. He's wide. He works well with Condon too. I like that front
Hmm.
court a lot. That's probably the best front court in the country. Um, but the guard's probably where I'm iffy. I don't know how well. I mean, I just don't see uh, Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee matching what Clayton Martin and Richard did last year. I feel like that's where a lot of your offensive production came. And I definitely think Condon could be like a big guy to take I guess take more shots in general. He's still a good shooter, good stretch big, but I'm not really sold on the roster. I do like AJ Brown though. I think he's a
Do you have Thomas Haw starting at the three, or do you have CJ
yeah.
Ingram?
I have Hop, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I think that's one of the bigger like points that's going to be interesting to see is how well he adjusts to that. I mean, he's a decent shooter, so I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal, but not sure how mobile he is. I mean, he moves decently well for his size, but
Yeah. What do you think about
yeah.
him?
Yeah, so I had Florida at my one. Um, they lost probably their two best players. I mean, you could have Condon up there as their second best player from last year, but they lost some top end talent from last year's championship team. But Arkansas transfer Boogie Fland and Princeton transfer Xavier Lee are going to be the backcourt. Uh, I know some people aren't sold on Xavier Lee, how he's going to translate his game from the Ivy into the SEC. I'm a fan. I like what he does. I like what he does scoring wise. He's a decent shooter. And like you kind of noted with Condon and Chinyello, I think that's, if not the best, one of the best front courts in the country. They play really well off each other. Chinyello is a grind it out, grab some boards guy. Condon has really good skills for a big. Condon's just one of the better players in the one of the better front court players in the league. Could argue one of the better front court, one of the more skilled front court players in the country. But like I said, yeah, I think the storyline here is how Thomas Ha and CJ Ingram, whether that changes. CJ Ingram's a pretty talented freshman, but who takes over that starting role? Um, so my guy is Thomas Ha.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, I just wasn't a huge fan of him last year. I thought he was kind of like a factor, but he's not like as big a factor as he was in March compared to what he was in
Hmm.
March. So I think that I don't know how like realistic that role is, I guess, for him. And at the three, obviously, it's going to be a different game for him. So it could get a
Yeah,
little iffy. I mean, my guy I just said was AJ Brown. I'm from Ohio. He's a good
yeah,
shooter.
I
I
really like
liked him.
AJ Brown actually.
Yeah, I liked him last year, so I think he'll be a good option. I'm assuming he's off the bench, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think he's pretty solid. So
get tier one, man. I think we
number
all know
one,
who it is.
Kentucky. Where'd you have Kentucky?
Kentucky. They're my three. Yep.
Wow. Okay. So Kentucky, I don't know. I love this team. So I had first starting lineup Jalen Lowe, Tega Owe, Cam Williams, Mo Diabate, and Jaden Quaintance. So I mean, for me, there's just so much to like about this roster. Um, they have Quaintance, obviously. I think he's awesome. I think he'll be one of the best fives, if not the best five this year. He's a beast. Honestly, last year he was very underrated at Arizona
He is a
State.
freak. Yeah, he is.
He's awesome. I
Poof.
was, like I said, I think the first episode, I was surprised he didn't go to NBA based off just like watching him play. He was an awesome player. And then I do think I Denzel Aberdeen I really liked from Florida. I think he's a pretty
Mhm.
underrated pickup. But you look at the bench, you see like I have Jasper Johnson, 5 star. I see Reese Potter, a 7'1" stretch big from Miami, Ohio. I see Brandon Garrison coming back from last year, and I see another 5 star in Mal Moreno.
Yeah,
So I
Malachi
mean,
Moreno. He's another seven
yeah,
footer.
there are tons of talent on the team. I like Cam Williams just feels like a good connector piece, I guess. In the starting lineup, a good shooter. Lowe and Ortega are awesome backcourt. They're probably gonna be like the thing for this team, but I really like the team overall.
Yeah, so I had Kentucky at my three. They have probably the most potential of any team in this conference, arguably the most potential of any team in college basketball. Otega Owe returns. He was their best player. Transfers in Jalan Lowe and Jaden Quaintance were two of the top transfers, and they were able to land both of them. They spent a lot of money on their NIL, like you said, bringing in some 5 stars. Jasper Johnson, I think, is going to have a pretty big role, even if it is off the bench. The thing that worries me is the shooting. I know you talked
Mm,
about Cam Williams is a good shooter. I think I mean, yeah, he's going to be a good shooter, but like Mo Diabate doesn't shoot. He can't really stretch the floor too well. Shalon Lowe was horrible at shooting last year. He was so inefficient. Jaden
mm,
Quaintance hasn't really shown that ability to stretch the floor at all. So, I mean, even a guy like Denzel Aberdeen, he'll be decent at shooting, but I just don't think that they'll be able to like get up enough threes where you kind of need that when you have Otega Owe as a slasher kind of player. I think they're going to need to have somebody jump out and besides Cam Williams step up and be somebody who stretches the floor. And even Cam Williams, I'm not sure how much his role is going to be. I know did you say you have him starting?
I have him starting, yeah, at the three.
Yeah, I mean, and he definitely could. I'm not sure if they start Jasper Johnson over him, maybe, but yeah, I just struggle to see the shooting. Jasper Johnson's a good shooter coming
Mm.
in, but it's him and Cam Williams, and that's it. So interested to see who steps up.
Oh. Do you want to go over the
And I
teams you
think
have?
that's going to take us out of the SEC. We're going to, oh, wait, yeah. So I had a few
You have
teams
a couple
actually. I had
teams.
three teams that you didn't talk about. I'll go over them really quickly. At my 10, I had Oklahoma, which is a team that I, the only reason I like them, they have a ton of transfer talent coming in. The roster looks a lot different. They kind of have a big three of like Xavier Brown, Darian Reed, and Tay Davis. My guy that I was really trying to talk about was Nigel Pack. He was electric last year before he got hurt at Miami. He's going to be
Nice.
able to score the ball really well. I'm interested to see how well he does. The team has decent depth. I think they're just going to be a solid team.
I had them at 11. They're just outside. Pack's on going on to his 6 year as well. So him and Tay
Yeah.
Davis will be pretty nice duo.
Yep. And then at my 9, I had Vandy. The computers love Vandy. I think they're going to be good. I like Mike James a lot. I don't know if that's tournament bias. I don't know if that's. Really like Louisville. I just really like Mike James. Um, they're really experienced roster, some decent transfers. The player that I had to watch is AK Okereke. He is a transfer from Cornell, another Ivy League guy. Averaged 14 and 5 last year, with also 4 assists. So um, he's going to be a good role player for them. But I just like what Vandy has going on with their depth and their experience.
Yeah, I like their depth too. I just didn't think they really had like a main guy, I guess, to go to, so I left them out. I had them at
And
13.
then, yep, at my favorite team that I'm not sure everybody has on their list, at my 7 is where I had Ole Miss.
Mm, okay.
So
Good
I
team.
think Malik Dia was a preseason third team all SEC player. He was pretty solid last year, shot decently, scored pretty efficiently. I think he's going to take a leap and be a good scorer. Talk about Louisville transfers. James Scott is here. He averaged 7 last year. He's a good big for them. Keza
Hmm.
Gifa is from High
Yeah.
Point. He averaged 15. They have AJ Storr, who I feel like AJ Storr's been on every team in all of college basketball at this point. Has he transferred like every single year?
It's pretty close, I feel like.
Yeah, he started at St. John's, transferred to Wisconsin, transferred to Kansas, transferred to Ole Miss, but
Mm,
he's just a decent role player. Nothing crazy to be expected out of him, but I think this team is pretty deep. Um, I said my player to watch is their freshman Nico Bundalo. He's a 4-star big. He's super athletic, like sneaky athletic, has plays with a really good pace, and he has like really good around the rim skills. I think he's going to play really well alongside Scott.
mm,
I think that Chris Beard is a great coach. I know that there's sometimes some contentious contention on that point. I like
mm.
Chris Beard a lot, so yeah, I had Ole Miss at my 7.
Yeah, that's a that's a team I thought about. They had a lot of freshmen off the bench, and generally, I just think I'm not sold on the depth, I guess.
Yep. All right, and we're gonna move on to the American. So we just did our top 5 teams from the American. Same format. Brett, go ahead and get started with your 5.
5, I had North Texas. Did you have North Texas?
I had North Texas at my 5.
Perfect. Okay. So, I mean, I think Dylan Arnett's the main guy for them. Um, coming from Cleveland State. Um, I mean, they have a lot of guys I thought were kind of just like pretty solid. They don't have like a guy coming in. I do think Arnett's gonna be the lead scorer probably. I really liked him last year. I know he was pretty impactful for Cleveland State. Another guy, I mean, my guy from this team is Demarion Watson. I think he'll start. I think he'll be good from Iowa State. He's kind of like one of my sleeper guys. But I mean, they have a lot of all-around solid pickups. I think they have a pretty sound starting lineup, and I had David Terrell from UTEP, Will McClendon coming back, Demarion Watson from ISU, Reese Robinson from Cleveland State. He was all Horizon freshman last year at Cleveland State, and then Dylan Arnett. So I think the main thing for them is probably defense. They'll probably be the best defense in this conference, and I think they're a pretty solid lineup all around.
Yeah, I had him at 5. I like Dylan Arnett. He was actually my player to watch guy. But I do think that Will McClendon might even take a bigger step in this, especially offense. He shot 35% from three last year, averaged 12 at San Jose.
Mm,
So I think he's going to be really good for this North Texas team. Yeah, I think their depth is good. I like Kamai Crosby too.
mm.
Um, he's I think he's coming. Is he a D2 guy or a JUCO guy? I can't. I think he's.
Yeah, I had Josiah Shackelford from D2 as well. So
Yep.
they
So
both
bringing up some
nice
D2
ads.
guys and some sub D1 guys who should be able to contribute. But yeah, I think Will McClendon and Dylan Arnett are going to be pretty good together. And then who do you have here for?
I have Tulane. You have Tulane top five?
I don't have Tulane top
Oh,
five.
interesting. Okay, I'm interested to see who's in your top five then. So I had
Oh, excuse me.
uh
No, I do. I have
Tulane.
Tulane at my
Okay,
three.
good,
I'm so sorry.
good.
I
I
was
was
yeah.
gonna be surprised if you had Tulane. It's like, wow.
Yep, I have Tulane at my three. That's right.
Okay, so they do lack size, so not counting. I mean, they have two big guys, but they only like 10-minute per game guys, both of them. So I don't think they really have any experience with in their bigs. But um, I mean, Rowan Brumbaugh is coming back. He's
hmm
a great player. They're bringing back Asher Woods, who's an 11 point per game guy. They got a first year guy, or now going into his sophomore year, Josiah Moore from Oral Roberts, who averaged 11 as well. Greg Glenn, another nice ad or keep, I guess. And then Davion Bradford. Um, he's one of the starters I have. He averaged 2 and 2 at Eastern Tennessee State, but I mean they don't have bigs, so I
Yep.
think that's their downfall. I guess for me would be the bigs. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Rowan Brumbaugh is awesome. Like you said, he averaged 16 last year. Could even expect even a leap out of him, but if he keeps those numbers going, they're going to be good. Asher Woods and Greg Glenn return. They returned a lot of players from last year's
Hmm.
team, which I really like. It's not really something you see a ton, even in all of college basketball these days, but especially at the mid-major level. I think more from Oral Roberts. You said he averaged 11 last year in his freshman season. I think he's going to be pretty good. He was at Oral Roberts. And then my player to watch is another returner in Percy Daniels.
Mm.
So you talked about how they don't have a ton of size. He is a fourth year player. He's been at Tulane his entire career. Didn't play a ton his first few years. Not sure what his expected role is to be, but I think if he is able to make a jump even into the rotation as a big. I mean, they need it. He's size and they need it.
Sure, he might sneak in. I wasn't really sure who to put at the five, honestly. So,
And then tier three.
yeah, my three I have Wichita State. Where do you have Wichita
Yeah, so I
State?
had Wichita State at my four.
Okay, so we swap
So I think
those.
we're gonna have the same top five, just switched around with Wichita State and Tulane.
Yeah, so maybe I might have different actually at
Maybe,
one and two.
actually. All
So
right, you're right.
we'll see. But I do think this is probably the most underrated team in the conference for me. It's really Kenyon guy, Giles. He was
hmm
awesome towards the end of the year, 5'9" guard, but 15, 3 and 2, 45, 41 splits on 6 threes a game from UNCG. He was one of their guys in that March Madness push. They have, I mean, I think he's probably gonna be one of my favorite guards in mid majors. And they also have Will Berg. You
hmm
remember from Will Berg from
Big
Purdue,
fella.
7'2", 255.
I
That's
thought he was gonna be the next Edie.
this. I mean, they have Jacobson now, I guess, but for Wichita State, I think that's such a great player to add. I mean, that big guy is awesome. Um, for I mean, a conference like the American especially. Um, Michael Gray, average 11 and 3, 40% shooter on 5 attempts at Nichols. Karen Boyd, 9 and 7 at Eastern Tennessee State. And then Jarrett Valencia is 8 and 4 at Monmouth. So I think they have a lot of production from mid majors last year. And then they also added Drake Kindle, who is a 16 point per game guy in community college. Might get in the play-in rotation. Um, and then Brian Amunique, another 40% shooter. I think they have a lot of shooting. I think they're a pretty solid team. Wichita State's a fun team to be good. So think it'd be
Yeah,
nice.
I like a lot of their shooting. Kenyon Giles is expected to be the guy, like you said. Another transfer that I like is Michael Gray from
Mm,
Nichols. I think he's great. The front court is I really like the front court. Will Berg is awesome. My guy to watch was Jared Valencia. You
mm,
kind of talked about him a little bit. Like going into his junior year, he was at Monmouth. Shot really low attempts, but shot 34% from three on 40 attempts. His minutes last year were kind of up and down. Didn't have like a great role up until the end of the year where he started to really put it together. But I really like what he does. Would like to see his efficiency go up a little bit. Wasn't great. He shot 48% from the field. So if he improves on his efficiency, I think he's going to be awesome. I hope to see him as a big part of that front court next to Will Berg.
I had him sorry. I like him.
Yeah,
So on to
let's
my
get to your two.
guy, I had South Florida. Do you have South Florida too?
Okay, so yeah, we did flip the one and two. Nope, I had South Florida
Oh,
at my one.
okay. So let's go through the lineup, or starting lineup. Xavier Brown from JMU at starting at point at 10, 3, and 3, pretty solid shooting. Guy I like a lot, Josh Omojafo from RMU. Um, Shoots as well. He's 11 point per game guy. Joseph Pinion, very underrated ad from Arkansas State. He was a player I really liked there. Damian Collins averaged 4 and 3 at LSU, so it's always nice to add a front court guy who's from a power school. And then Isaiah Nelson, also another Arkansas State guy, averaged 8 and 7 last year, so pretty solid, big to add. Um, I mean, the guard play is pretty sick. They also had Wes Innes, a 20 point per game guy from the D2 level, and Devin Hade, who in his first year averaged 14 and 5 and 2 at Central Connecticut. So, I mean, there's a lot of like efficient scores, and I mean, they brought a lot of production, a lot of scoring talent from other teams and their own team. So it's pretty impressive they stacked this team up just in one off season.
Yeah, I really like this USF roster. I'm super excited for what they have with the Arkansas State transfers like Isaiah
Mm,
Nelson and Joseph Pinion. I really like Pinion. He shot almost 60% from the field last year. Like as a wing, that's just crazy. A guys like Damon Collins are solid. My player to watch though is Devin Hade. You kind of talked about
mm,
him. I expect him to be a backup guard. I don't. He's kind of one of the weirder transfers on the team. Coming in from the NEC, he put up some really solid numbers there. Like you said, averaged 14. Also averaged 5.5 rebounds. Something to be fairly, I mean, decent rebounding
mm,
guard. But he had some really good games down the stretch, putting up like 29 against Fairleigh Dickinson at the end of the year. Like he is a solid scorer. I like what he does. Something he needs to work on the turnovers. Had a 1-to-1 assisted turnover
mm,
ratio. So I'd like to see him work on that a little bit if he's going to be like a guard player. But yeah, I really like this team. I like the coach. He's also coming in from Arkansas State, Brian Hodgson. So really excited what they got going on there.
mm-hmm. Okay, so my number one, I assume your number two is Memphis.
Yep.
Okay, so I really like Memphis. I think they're talent-wise probably the deepest mid-major. That's not like one of the, like a Big East or something, but I really like the team. Um, I mean, they're bringing in like an LSU starter, in Givens, or no, yeah, they're bringing in an LSU starter. I don't even have him starting for Memphis. Like this is a really talented team. Dougie McDaniels, I think that's the guy. He's a, I mean, he's pretty inefficient, I think, but he's a good scorer. 12, 3, and 4 from Kansas State. Another guy you wouldn't expect to see at the mid-major level. Sincere Parker averaged 12 with McNeese last year. I think he'll start.
Not sure he's going to play. Has some off the court issues.
Which one?
Sincere.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't know.
I mean that's just some of the stuff I saw when I
She's
was doing
still.
some research. Had
Okay.
some off the court issues. Not sure what his some domestic violence charges, but if he does play, that'd be big for the team.
Yeah, I seen him on the roster, so I assumed he would. But I mean, Givens could start as well. I don't think that's a huge problem. He'd be a nice one.
I almost like Givens more than I like Sincere Parker.
Maybe as a person now, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah. I just had Parker starting because Givens wasn't efficient at all. But
Yeah, he wasn't efficient. Yeah.
and then Hazan Abdul Hakim from Rio Valley averaged 14. Zach Davis averaged 6 and 3 at South Carolina. It's not a power school guy. And then Aaron Bradshaw 7-1 top recruit Ohio State. So there's like this is almost like a really crummy power school, pretty much talent wise, recruiting wise. So I like the talent they have. I think that's a big strength in this conference.
Interesting way to put it. I like that. The thing that scares me with this team is Doug McDaniel. I think I mean, him leading the team just scares me. I think he might have a little bit too much leeway,
Mm,
honestly. I'm not a Penny Hardaway believer.
wow.
Um, I
Okay.
know he always has some pretty talented rosters. Sometimes they underperform relative to expectations. But yeah, I do like Aaron Bradshaw from OSU. The player that I said he's going to be struggling to find spot in this rotation, but I really liked him last year at Ryder is Tariq Ingram.
Hmm.
He averaged like 11 last year at Ryder. Fairly efficient guy. Could play some backup big minutes for Bradshaw and Hassan Abdul. Or Hassan Abdul is going to be kind of like that 3 to 4 guy. Not sure what his role is going to be. Ingram could play that as well. I think they have him listed at 6'9" or 6'10", so not a ton
So
of other
I
big
mean,
depth.
yeah. Arop, I think so you say it from Columbia. I don't remember him. Watching one of those Columbia games. I don't think he's too bad. He's a 7 footer. I think they have a lot of transfer guys, a lot of solid pickups, I think.
Yep.
My
All right. Well,
my
I think
guy,
that, yeah,
um,
go for it.
I was gonna say Doug McDaniel. I really like Doug McDaniel. I thought he had some crazy games last year. And
I
I
mean,
mean his whole career, I kind of just he's a fun player. I don't know how great he's gonna be leading a team, but like he had a 24-point game against Arizona, 22 on BYU. Like he can get buckets on sometimes. He can have some high
he
assist
definitely fills up the
games.
box score.
He
Yeah.
had 11 assists against Kansas, 9 assists against ASU. Like he puts up good numbers. He's inefficient, but I mean,
He's got a bit of a turnover problem. Averaged almost
yeah,
3 turnovers last year. Not efficient. I don't know. I hope that he is the guy that they expect him to be, but he scares me. He scares me.
yeah.
And I think that's
Any
going to
more
wrap
hot
us up in the
takes?
American.
Mm,
Yeah. So,
some more hot
did you? I
takes.
did. I'm going to go for my hot take first.
Yeah, that's fun.
I related it into the SEC where I had my hot take. I kind of talked about how much I like this team earlier, but the hot take is that Chris Beard is going to lead Ole Miss to a top 5 tournament seed, and he's going to be the SEC Coach of the Year.
Ooh, okay. That's interesting. I just don't really like Ole Miss that much. Um,
Yeah, they're pretty low in Torvik, pretty low in some of the computer numbers.
oh, Kempom has him
I'm sold
24.
though. Oh yeah, Ken
Kempom
Palm does
likes
have him
him.
at 24.
But yeah. I mean, like Nick Bundlow was a freshman I liked watching a lot. He was a fun
Hmm.
freshman. He has a cool little game on him. I think the front court's really nice. I like Kezagifa last year, but like AJ Store, what is he gonna be? He's probably gonna have to start, right? And then Corey
Yeah,
Johnson. Um,
I'm not quite sure what the starting lineup's going to be. What I had it is. I didn't have AJ Store starting. I had it as Kezigifa, Corin Johnson, Malik Dia, Nico Bundalo, and James Scott.
Interesting. I had AJ Store over Bundalo, but I did like Bundalo. Isn't that do you think Bundalo would be a three or Dia the three? Is it kind of just like three big
I think
lineup?
Dia's going to be the three.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I like Dia last
I
year. He
I
was a
like
good
Dia. I
player.
think he's going to be the three. I think he's runs the court really well.
Yeah, he's a cool player. I think his like I guess his talent as a big was kind of what I liked last year, so I always thought of him as a big. But I mean, at the
Yeah.
three, I think he'd still be a good player. Wow, my
And
hot
what was
take
your hot take?
it was connected to SEC as well. Um, I don't think they're gonna be a best conference. I think it's gonna be the Big 12 this year. I think that's gonna be the conference to beat. I don't know about. I mean, looking at the depth, I just didn't think they had the kind of like what you liked last year. I think all those teams kind of passed around wins from the
I mean,
top
last
teams.
year was like an all-time year for the conference, I feel like. They
hmm
were great.
and I think a lot of it was also because the top teams were just selling to like having terrible games against bottom teams, and I don't think the bottom teams are as good this year. I think they still have a lot of top end talent, but even like Florida and Bama, I don't see them being as good as they were last year. I don't see Tennessee being as good as they were last year. I think Arkansas could be better. Auburn won't be as good as last year. Kentucky, I think, will be better, but I think I just think overall they had a bit of a drop off. The Big 12, I mean, very top heavy, but still
We'll
really,
talk about the Big 12 later, Brett.
yeah, I
Don't
think
get too excited.
2 episodes, I think.
Yeah, so next we're going to be talking about the Big Ten and the Ivy League. So that'll be exciting. Big Ten is, I mean, the biggest conference in all of basketball, but they got some pretty good talent and good teams that we're excited to talk about. But until then, I think we're out of here.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll see you guys then. Have a good one.
I see you guys.
Bye.